Hi, guys.
Hey,
Welcome
everyone.
back. Curtis and Susan Marie here for the final chapter of how to be a networking ninja.
I always got to watch out for those moves that she has there.
Yes. Now, keep in mind, we have a corresponding worksheet for each of the chapters. Today's chapter title, Digital Dojo
Mastering
Mastering.
mastering online networking. What an exciting topic to wrap this series up with. And so today we're going to just do a little quick review about that and kind of just some highlights of that. But you really do need to watch the whole thing to catch it all.
It's true. You can go back and watch if you missed the other master classes for chapters 1 through 3. But today, chapter 4, one of the questions on the worksheet I think is actually a good thing to ponder as we get into today's topic, which is who do you see online that inspires you? Because if you're looking to have a presence online, which is what you're going to then bring into your networking online, it's not a bad idea to model yourself after somebody that you see doing it that you actually like.
That's
Now,
right. We call it R&D, not, and that's not research and development. It's rob and duplicate, and that's oftentimes, by finding somebody online that you really admire. Those are the people that maybe you can kind of figure out how they're doing it, and so and become your own networking ninja that way.
absolutely. Now, we're also a couple caveats here at the beginning. We're talking about mastery. Like, there's a lot of things out there that you could do with respect to online networking. We've been doing online networking for years now, and really just want to share some things that we believe will have you be masterful at it. And one of the things also is that when networking online, anytime that you can be with your camera on, it's going to be better, right? Just like right now when you're watching us, you get more of the hand gestures, the facial expressions. Similarly, if you have the opportunity to meet in person, it's going to probably be even better. So as much as we're here to focus on online, it's kind of like a good, better, best situation, but definitely focus on being on camera when you're networking online. The next thing we want to talk about is kind of the when, where, and how of networking online, because again, there's a lot of stuff out there. You could be doing networking groups like every single day online, but let's look at kind of the when, where, and how, because as I like to say, if it doesn't live in the calendar, it's probably not going to happen.
That's right. That's one of her signature lines that she uses on me all the time. Hey, does it live in your calendar? Because it's not going to happen likely if it doesn't. And so being intentional, and that's really about everything. If we're just intentional and we really plan for that time to be able to do that and to avoid some of the pitfalls of getting sucked into down a rabbit hole when you are online, those are some of the things I think that could serve you very, very well.
So keep in mind, we're going to talk about some methodologies that can be done daily, then weekly, monthly, and periodically, just to help you have a framework for what you're doing with networking online. One of the things that we think is most important to do daily is engaging in social media. In fact, that can be even down to the hour or the minute sometimes because you're doing things real time, and that can be okay. But we're going to recommend that you have time in your calendar booked to do social media for business purposes every day. And the four that we think are the most obvious and are effective for business purposes are
Yeah, LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram, Alignable. Alignable's maybe the new kid on the block, but really does lend itself very well and very nicely to be able to build some business relationships.
So we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can make connections on social media. So during that time that you're scheduling your calendar each day, what are you doing? Well, number one, creating followers. And the way that you create followers is by publishing content. Now, we're not here as content creator pros. One of the easiest ways to create content actually is to share other people's content. But the idea is to be consistent with it, because as you're consistent, you'll create followers, which creates more engagement, and that you'll show up in people's feed that way. In fact, I went back and looked at my last 6 months of posts on LinkedIn to see which one had the greatest engagement, and it was one where we had been in a class and they were encouraging us to just make a post about your workspace and your work world. And I happened to be working in the car at that moment and just took a picture of myself working in the car. And that had the most impression. So it wasn't even a professional post necessarily, but pay attention to those impressions because sometimes it'll give you clues as to the things that work.
She does tend to do that quite a bit too, by the way. Once she realized that a hot spot in the car with her tethered to her phone, she can spend a lot of time getting work done when we're driving. And the fact that we get to work together, that's so much fun because we can be doing it together while we're on the road, so to speak. And the other way, the next item would be really to be reciprocal, and that's where, when you follow people, it's likely that they're going to follow you back. So be selective and be strategic about who you're following, because then likely they may follow you back, and along with that may come some of their following too. So that's why you want to be strategic about who you're following.
And the third thing that you can do daily is direct outreaches to people. Now on Facebook, that's easy because you just follow people. You follow their page, or you send a friend request. Instagram, same thing. You can just follow their page. LinkedIn, when you send a connection request, it does allow you, even in the free version, to make a little note, send it with a note. And there is a number of characters limit, but we encourage you to do that every time, to add a little something, even if you just say, I liked your content and would love to connect. Because remember, what we're trying to do is to build relationships, the same thing really that we've talked about in the previous chapters, leading up to this one on virtual, you want to do in this world as well. So in terms of what you do daily, that's what we want to encourage you to do now.
Yeah, and to be, Susan Marie just mentioned, to express some interest in something that they've posted, not just spamming them with a stock message that says, "Oh, this is what we do, and this is, we're really good at it, and everything. We think it would be a good fit." No, engage on their level, engage with what they're doing, make a comment, whether it be on their family or their, "Oh, I really liked your background, your glasses, your hairstyle, whatever," because everybody likes to talk about themselves. And so that can be a good foundation to build a connection, especially online, and do that well before you have those business conversations.
So let's transition to what we recommend weekly. Again, as a master, okay, some of these things happen daily and you could do them, but if you want to have time to be able to follow up and do everything that we're talking about, these are the things that we recommend to do only weekly. And that is to find some kind of networking group. Now, Alignable is one of the ones we would recommend. They have things that happen every day, but at least pick one once a week. People like Alignable because there's no fee unless you're a premium member that is attached to that, just to do something where you're with kind of in a group context and have the ability to broaden your networking a little bit.
And it could be something like BNI, Business Networking International. We've been part of that. That is a paid organization, but it's the largest networking organization in the entire world. But you could find something through Alignable or through Meetup or through some of these other platforms that really allow you to be able to get out and find some other people. Maybe you're looking for some Facebook groups on Facebook. You might have a background or some experience in the plumbing industry, or my background as a photographer. So I can go into some of those forums or those communities and have an intelligent conversation that is of interest to myself. And that's a great way, because you're going to come with the if you've got experience in whatever it might be, whether it's even an activity, whether it's pickleball or sports or fishing or crocheting or whatever, join some of those groups to be able to just make some new connections.
Great tips. And we're saying on a weekly basis to do some of those, whether it's an Alignable networking group, a BNI type group, or maybe a Facebook group. And then a tip in those contexts, even when you're doing it online, you want to prepare just like you would when you go to an in-person networking event. In fact, the same questions that we recommended last chapter, those opening questions that generate some intrigue, you could use those same questions in this virtual context.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, Meetup, Eventbrite. There's also the school platform, even where our courses live within that school platform. There's a lot of different ways that you can connect with people. Some are free to join, some are paid to join, but just looking for places to become a professional friend maker. That's what I like to always think of myself as. When I'm out meeting people, it's not because I'm looking to do business with them. I'm just looking to make a new friend. And if that's all that happens, great. No harm, no foul. That's terrific. If it turns into something else and turns into business, even better. But that comes across really in our authenticity and just being who we are.
For sure. I actually think the school community is a great place to poke around and see what other communities are out there that might appeal to you and participate in those. These are more kind of periodic ideas that we're hitting on here now at the end. The Eventbrite, the school, the meetup group. Heck, if there's a group that you don't find that you'd like to be a part of, you could start
There you
a
go.
meetup group and build a network that way. Remember, you want to play to your strengths. So, in wrapping up, let's just remind you that whatever your particular industry or geography or demographic is that you serve, you want to make sure that the groups that you're paying attention to online match that, just like if you were doing it in person. And even though we talked about in previous chapters civic and service organizations and how to network in those, you could do those online too. You could be part of where, like I'm on the board of directors for CASA, I can be part of their online world and connect with their page on LinkedIn, because that opens up then the connections that's connected with that organization. So don't overlook, if you're part of a chamber, connecting with them online as well.
Mhm. And just when it's all said and done, do a nice follow up, send them a thank you card, invite them to another event, something like that, that again will show your interest in who they are and connecting with them, in a genuine sort of way. And so just having sort of a showing your interest in their business by sending them a thank you note or thanking them for their time, and if it's handwritten, all the better.
So those are the ways in which they cross over the online and the virtual. The same thing with having some kind of CRM or tracker for who you're meeting and what you're doing with them. Be sure to pay attention to what you're doing online, just like you would in person. And we have so enjoyed uh, training on this How to Be a Networking Ninja course for this month. Stay tuned, because we've got great other courses that are upcoming in this Academy community. And we look forward to continuing to grow and improve together.
Absolutely. Bye for now.